Welcome back to Red Devils TV, and this is your Manchester United versus Crystal Palace Caraboa Cup preview. Now, Manchester United won against Burnley in our most recent game, and Crystal Palace drew in their most recent game. Now, Roy Hodgson, I've got to give him a lot of praise because since he took over Patrick Vieira, he's gotten playing better football. Now, a lot of people doubted that decision once Roy Hodgson was appointed, but he's done really well with them. Eze, Olise, they look like very dangerous players, and the fact is that they've been targeted and they've been rumoured and linked with so many different clubs, but they've stayed loyal to Crystal Palace. And I just believe that it's Roy Hodgson, however long he's going to stay as their manager, is doing a very good job for them, and Crystal Palace fans are over the moon with their current performances. But this is about Manchester United, and I personally believe Erik Ten Hag is going to go very strong in a game like this. He's going to want to retain the Caraboa Cup, considering we're the holders of the cup, and do the double and win it back to back, because let's be honest, Manchester United throughout our history, we haven't really prioritised the League Cup, and we've won the FA Cup a bunch of times, obviously the Premier League and the Champions League. So with Manchester United, we've kind of isolated the League Cup, and I think a manager like Erik Ten Hag will value every single trophy as a trophy, no matter how big or how small the actual trophy is. And I think he will want to retain a trophy like the Caraboa Cup. But I think Erik Ten Hag is also wanting improvement. He also will probably want to go and get 2 trophies this season, maybe the FA Cup, maybe even the Champions League. Premier League, I don't think we can challenge for that, because Liverpool, they look absolutely incredible at the moment. Obviously, we know how dangerous Man City are, and the upcoming and rising stars in Arsenal. But yes, Manchester United is still a long way to go for challenging for leagues like the Premier League and Champions League. But for these domestic cups, these are perfect competitions for teams like Manchester United. But with Erik Ten Hag, I personally believe that he's going to go strong in a game like this, and we'll also see quite a bit of rotation due to injuries that have been out for some time now, are expected to be back for the Crystal Palace match. Then players being Amrabat, who we saw briefly play against Burnley at fullback, which I hope he plays in the midfield on Tuesday, as well as Mason Mount, Raphael Varane, maybe Harry Maguire, and other players as well. And I want to talk about the team that I personally believe that Erik Ten Hag is going to go for. Now, for me, the team that I think Erik Ten Hag is going to go for is Andre Onana in net. Maybe he might go for the backup keeper, but I think Andre Onana stays in that number 1 goalkeeping position. Diogo Dalot and Reguilon, I think they both stay as the fullback positions, which is kind of frustrating due to the lack of options we have at the fullback options at the moment, but there's nothing we can do about it. Maybe he might see a youth player be brought out, but Fernandes is out on loan, Brandon Williams is out on loan, so what are we going to do? I don't think we're going to recall them back in the next 24 hours, so no doubt it will be Reguilon and Diogo Dalot. Centre-backs, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Johnny Evans and Varane, maybe Lindelof. Again, they played very well against Burnley, so no doubt Erik Ten Hag will want to maybe give Varane a bit more of a rest. Maybe, I'm not too sure. As well as I think the midfield will be completely different. As we saw, Eriksen was out of the team against Burnley at the weekend, so no doubt to be Hannibal Mabry might play, or Eriksen might play. He might have been rested for the Crystal Palace game, let's say. But I hope Amrabat plays, because I just think that Amrabat he's been out of football for such a long time. Playing a domestic cup competition like the Carabao Cup will be just a great starter for a player like Amrabat. And if he doesn't perform well, then you can bring him on off for Casemiro or some player like that. But how do I think Erik Ten Hag is going to set up? Now, before I finish off doing my midfield, we've seen 2 different formations recently under Erik Ten Hag, and that's the diamond formation and the 4-2-3-1 standard formation that Erik Ten Hag normally goes for. So, for me, I'm quite curious to see how he goes, because as we know, Crystal Palace do like to use their wingers. They like to overload the wide areas of the pitch. Olise, Eze, and their other players. I mean, Edouard is a very dangerous striker as well. So we can't underestimate him. Crystal Palace are a very decent side, and we've got to be careful in the wider areas. But I think Erik Ten Hag is going to go for the 4-2-3-1 formation, and I think it's going to be Hannibal and Amrabat as the pivot, and I think it's going to be Eriksen as the number 10, Mason Mount on the right wing, Garnacho on the left wing, and someone like Højlund or Martial through the middle. Now, I think there is going to be a bit of rotation, and I might be wrong. maybe Fernandes plays, because Fernandes is our captain, probably one of our most important players on the pitch. But I want to see Erik Ten Hag give him a bit of a rest, because his issue last season was because of the lack of squad rotation that we had. Bruno Fernandes was completely ran into the ground, and so are a lot of other players, and that's caused a few injuries. And considering we're coming back from injuries, I want to kind of also avoid giving other players injuries, especially important players like Marcus Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, Rasmus Højlund, Rafael Varane again, with Sandro Martinez now being out injured as well. So I personally believe that Erik Ten Hag just needs to be careful with this rotation. We play Crystal Palace again on the weekend, so on the Saturday. So this game, yes, you want to win it, but I think you can rotate in this game and just kind of like revise the way Crystal Palace will come at us, because if we put a stronger team against them in the league at Old Trafford next week, at the weekend, I do believe that, you know, we can learn a few things and what they're going to bring to the table. But my score prediction for the game, I do believe Manchester United can win it. I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory for Manchester United. I think that Burnley result is exactly what we needed, because I think if we didn't win against Burnley, then no doubt there would be a lot of questions asked by the media, by the fans. But I hope that now that the players are thriving with confidence, Erik Ten Hag might go strong. He might go for the same team he played against Burnley. We're not too sure. Hannibal, I think, is kind of a questionable player in our fan base. A lot of fans don't really rate him. I think that he reminds me a lot of a player like a Fred, a complete workhorse, a player that won't stop running. I think a player like that we need in our midfield. We need that energy. We need that tenaciousness. And I think Hannibal can improve under a manager like Erik Ten Hag. And is he Manchester United quality? I wouldn't say so, but what does that mean anymore? I mean, the shirt holds a lot of weight with players like Paul Scholes, Roy Keane, by famous midfielders like David Beckham as well. And then don't forget also the other icons like Wayne Rooney, Cristiano Ronaldo, like Eric Cantona. The shirt holds a lot of weight. But there's also been times where we have had players that have just been workhorses. Fred, to name one in recent times, Ji-Sung Park, another player just to name in recent times. And I think Hannibal can be a player like that, who can come in, do a job, and just help out and help just press teams, because he's got a lot of energy. He's been at Manchester United for many years now, and he wants to prove himself. And I think that he wants to get himself into this team and like closer to that starting 11. And I think, considering we haven't got an energy player like Fred anymore, Hannibal could fit that category and that option that Erik Ten Hag is looking for very, very well, in my opinion. But yes, I've gone for a 2-0 victory, because I just feel like Manchester United, like I said, will be thriving from confidence. Erik Ten Hag might rotate, he might not, but based off the team that I've chosen, I personally believe that 2-0 could be a very decent victory. Lindelof and Evans look very solid, but we never know. Varane might be brought back, which would make us even more solid. And I think that conceding a goal and trying to work on these clean sheets is kind of what Erik Ten Hag is looking for, because right now we're struggling to score goals unless it's a moment of brilliance. So I personally believe that Erik Ten Hag will kind of want to do what he did last season, where we have a solid defence and then we just try and win games 1-2-0 and just try and get the results over the line. Because last season, Manchester United should have lost a lot of games that we didn't, and we should have won, or we should have drew games that we won. And we got quite lucky last season, because quite a lot of teams were underperforming. But does that make Erik Ten Hag overrated? For me, no, because you've got to beat what's in front of you. And I don't really appreciate what the media and pundits and certain fans are labelling Erik Ten Hag as, because I think he's an amazing manager. I think he's the right man for the job. And I think anyone else who disagrees is a complete idiot. But that's just my opinion. You're entitled to yours. You might disagree and you might think Erik Ten Hag isn't a good manager. But that's the video. Thank you for watching. Make sure you leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new. And remember to subscribe to Red Devils TV and join the family. We're on the road to 850 subscribers. Soon to be 1,000. So please keep subscribing. And let's get to that 1,000 mark very, very soon. But anyway, thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.